Hi, this is Dave Gleason. I'm head coach here at Athletic Revolution in Pembroke, Massachusetts. Today I'm going to speak to you just a bit about youth speed development for kids 6 to 9 years old. It's boys and girls 6 to 9 years old. Way more prevalent perhaps is youth speed development in speed, agility, quickness training for 10 to 13 year olds, and certainly for your high school age athletes, that is 14 and up. I wanted to do this video first with a follow-up with 10 to 13 year olds and 14 plus afterward, because I think this needs to be emphasized. And what I mean by that, the it is just this. We still need to have a multi-dimensional approach when it comes to speed development for young kids. It's not just about speed development. It's about speed of reaction. It's about movement awareness, mobility, strength, certainly. All of these different biomotors that are not only intertwined and related, but dependent on each other. And also keep in mind again that at this age, the CNS, the central nervous system, is so sponge or magnet-like that any stimulus you give a child, they're going to just take in and they're going to learn very rapidly. So this is a great, great opportunity to give kids a broad-based approach and an opportunity to see so many different forms of activities and modes of athleticism and exercise that you can give them, which will all lend itself to better performance and injury resistance. So with that, I'm going to do something a little differently today. I'm actually going to give you a little bit of an insider look at what we do here for speed development. I'm going to take a program right out of my my Discovery Programs book here that we've written up, that we've used in the past, and get a little bit specific with you in terms of what we do. I've shot video in the past about the whys behind why we do what we do here. Certainly if you go to the iyca.org website, you'll learn all about that from a neurological and central nervous system standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, and from an X's and O's standpoint. But without any further ado, I just want to dive into this real quick, okay? So I'm just picking this one. I put it out on top for us today. The first thing that we work on always with this age group is body awareness and movement exploration. It's vital to this age group. They are discovering movement. So we can't layer in very difficult and technically demanding drills right out of the gates. We're not training, we're not cramming for the test of speed, if you will. These kids have a long time ahead of them to get serious and to layer more skill development in. So with that said, body awareness and movement exploration. The first thing that we'll do after they're warmed up, and to be honest with you here, when we warm up, we play games. So they're ready to go, they're warmed up. We'll do letter tracing. On this particular day, I had them stand in an athletic stance, hands together in front of them, and they had to trace huge letters. Think of the mobility and flexibility it takes to make huge letters as big as you can, with the floor being the bottom of the page, hands together. Great movements there. And we'll do, maybe A through D one day or A through J another day. I'll have them spell their names. I'll pick out certain letters so that they have to be a little bit more reactive on certain days. So we start with that. We'll do a drill called Around the Worlds, because we want to work on hip stability a little bit without them knowing about it. So we'll have them stand on one foot, and they've basically got to copy the coach at this age for this drill. They'll stick their foot out in front of them as far as they can, then laterally, and then to the posterior side, and then they'll come back through. We'll do that twice on each leg. So we'll work on a little bit of hip mobility on the hip that's moving, certainly hip stability on the hip they're standing on. Balance is a great component of coordination that we work on with our kids at this age group as well. And then we'll do, on this day anyway, we did spider monkeys. This is like a bear crawl, which many of you know what that is. It's crawling forward on your hands and your feet, staying nice and low, trying to keep the hips low. Not necessarily a Spider-Man crawl, super low to the ground. The kids are doing their best they can. With a spider monkey, we have the kids emulate a spider monkey, sort of, and their feet are going side to side as their hands are crawling forward. Some upper body strength there, some shoulder stabilization, scapular stabilization, obviously core strength. Again, mobility, because we're asking them to get their knees up near their elbows. and body awareness, spatial awareness. Great drills. Then we go into object manipulation. We want to get these kids moving objects, weighted or not. On this particular day, we played a game where it's sort of like a tag / dodgeball game with one ball in the middle, and the kids can slap it on the ground. They're trying to hit each other from the knee down. Think about the footwork required there. We box them in so that there's a lot of rebounds off of walls and fences and all kinds of things like that. Constant footwork, constant footwork. There's your SAQ training. Then we dive into a little bit more specific coordination training. And it could be any one of the 5, 6, or 7 components of coordination that will work on a specific day. Sometimes all of them. You know, sometimes they crisscross, we know that. So I had them backward jogging this time, nice and slow, nice and slow. Then we had them backward jogging when they got halfway down the turf here. They had to spin around and face the right direction and jog forward. Again, we want them to master fundamental skills and movement patterns before we get super fancy. Then we played two-person follow the leader. So we had 10 kids on this particular day, I have in my notes here. Every child had a partner. We used the whole turf area. They played follow the leader. There was crisscrossing and chaos, and they had to strategize where they were going to go so they didn't bump into each other. It was great. It was great stuff. Then I set up a mini course, or a mini agility course. We brought out our small smart hurdles, and that was the first part. They just had to run over those any way that they want. Again, you got to remember what you're dealing with here in a 6 to 9-year-old child. We're not working on high knee and arm action, all that. That stuff will come. That stuff will come. Let them get used to this stuff and let them have fun. Let them soak it in. The other thing is, at this age, they're going to teach themselves anyway. So with very little coaching, you're going to see some rapid improvement in some of your kids. So in this course, we did the mini hurdles. Then we got right into a bear crawl. Again, more systemic strength. Then I had them loop around. They had the jump rope 5 times. Good coordination, low-level plyometrics, a little bit of fitness, certain reaction and rhythms and timing sequences there. And then I set out a few cones. They just had to zigzag through the cones. And I reminded them, try to keep your arms moving and moving quickly through the cones. That was the only cue for that day. So hey, there's your fancy drill for that day in terms of putting the kids through some sort of a cone drill. They had a blast there. We just kept running through it. Then at the end, we played one last game. We played two-person tag. Same idea where we put them all in pairs. I used pennies. They had to hold on to the penny in between them. It was freeze tag. 2 kids are it. As a pair, they're running around trying to tag everybody else. If they separate or get tagged, they're frozen. Boom. Every pair of kids got a chance to be it. It was terrific. It's a quick 45 to 50-minute class with a lot mashed in there, a lot squeezed in there. So they had a great time. They had fun. They worked on a lot of different skills. With outcome-based coaching and simple cueing, they worked on some different things and made those small improvements that we all know add up to big ones. So with that, there's a little bit of an insider look in terms of how we might run a class here for speed development for kids 6 to 9 years old. I hope this helps you out. We've got more coming your way in the future, so please, please stay tuned, whether it's on our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/athleticrevolution, or the iyca.org website, where they've got a host. So much information on speed and agility. So, and they have more coming too. So stay tuned. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.